Okay, so I would like to show and describe the data that we have collected on our student C since he's been into our classroom. And before he got to our classroom, we saw that he scored a 2 on the 3rd grade FSA. That shows us that he did not show complete proficiency in the 3rd grade before moving to us in the 4th grade. We see that C is scoring an average of 60% on his spelling test and an average of 26% on his reading test. And so since then, we've taken a couple more tests and given them to C to help us see where we can be helping him to improve his reading scores and to bump him up so where he wants to be and to achieve his goals and our goals for him. So the first thing that we did was take 2 different vocabulary tests on C. So the first one that we did or administered was the word meaning test. In this word meaning test, it asked C to describe words to us. And so we gave him 5 words at a 2nd grade level, and he was able to accurately define 4 of them, showing 80% proficiency on level 2 or grade 2 vocabulary. And then at grade level 3, he was able to accurately define 1 of those 5 words. And so that shows us on the word meaning test that C has vocabulary proficiency up to a 2nd grade level. Then we administered the Critchlow verbal language test that gives C a word and asks him to say the opposite of that word in response. So C was given the word boy, and he was asked to respond with the word girl. Here, C scored 11 out of 75 words, accurately responding with the correct response. And so this shows us that on the Critchlow verbal language that C was showing proficiency up to a 1st grade level in vocabulary. So between these 2 tests, we can see that C's level of vocabulary is between the 1st and 2nd grade level. So from there, we gave C the IRI, so we took an informal reading inventory on the student, and the IRI is made up of 2 main parts, and the first part is a word recognition inventory. So that is showing C 20 words from the basal of a grade, so 20 words from 1st grade, and we're showing C these words 2 times. We're showing them first timed. So we are showing C the first word is leg, so I would show it to C for about 1 second and then I would cover it up. So that's timed. We go through the entire list and we do it timed, and then the second time we're showing C the words untimed, so we're allowing C to look at these words for as long as he needs to give a response. So this time section is showing us how quickly is he able to recognize these words, which is really important in reading. As we're able to read words quickly or recognize them fast, we are able to have our minds free to be thinking about what we're comprehending and other things as we're reading. So C showed 90% accuracy on a 1st grade level and 80% on a 2nd grade level for the timed versions. 3rd grade, he's got 70% accuracy there, 60% accuracy at the 4th grade level, and then finally we did grade 5, and he had 40% accuracy for recognizing those words quickly on grade 4. So that was the first part of our test. I will show you this data in a chart to see. So these are these first 2 columns under word recognition. So we see what C is recognizing quickly and when we give him an unlimited amount of time. And so for the instructional level, for when I'm providing instruction to C, asking him to follow along as we're reading things, and providing him with content, we want the student to be recognizing 75% to 89% of the words. And so that shows us that C would be at the 2nd grade level for what we're looking for. With instructional level, I can be giving him 2nd grade material, and he's in that window that we want him to be for instruction-based content in reading. So the next part of the informal reading inventory is a passage reading inventory. So here we're giving C a passage to read, and we started off with second grade. So I'll show you that. We started off with a second grade passage, and we're doing a couple things here as he's reading. So we're checking to see his oral reading accuracy. So he's reading out loud, he's reading orally, and we're checking to see how accurately is he reading. So for example, on this passage, C made a total of 5 errors. So he was reading with 95% accuracy on this piece of text, which was a second grade level. These notes that I've taken within the text are where those errors were made. So instead of berries, for example, C said bears. And so I wrote that above as to what he wrote. The second thing that we're checking is how quickly he's reading. So we're checking his reading rate. And so I'm timing C and I'm seeing how many words he reads in a minute. And so at the second grade level, he's reading 112 words per minute. And then the last thing we check for in the passage reading inventory is the comprehension. So we're checking how much C is comprehending from what he's reading. And so C showed that he comprehended about 60% of what he read at the second grade level. He moved on to the third grade level. So here C made 4 errors. So he was reading with 96% accuracy, oral reading accuracy. He was reading about 110 words per minute at this third grade level, and he comprehended about 75% of what he read. And then lastly, we moved on to 4th grade, which is C's grade 4. And here he made 8 errors in this text, so he was reading with 92% oral reading accuracy. He was reading a little bit slower, so he's reading about 82 words per minute at this level. And then he also comprehended, based off of the questions that we asked and the responses that he gave, 25% of what he read. And so we'll move back to this chart to look at for C. And so for the instructional level, we want C to be reading with oral reading accuracy between 95 and 97%. So you want him to have between 95 and 97% accuracy of what he's reading. And so we see that could be in the window of a 3rd grade level or a 2nd grade level. And then lastly, for comprehension, we want C to be comprehending at least 75% of what he's reading. And so we see that he did that in grade 3, and he didn't do that in grade 2. So based off of the data that we have collected, we think that C's instructional reading level is about a 2nd grade level, possibly a 1st grade level. Anything between that 1st and 2nd grade level is appropriate to give C as instructional content. And so based off of this data, we really looked at it to see where is C having difficulty and where can we really be assisting him and helping him. So from the data, we see that C's greatest area of difficulty is comprehension. These were his lowest scores, where he had the most trouble in reading, was being able to comprehend what he read. A lot of times he recognized what he was reading and he read it out loud correctly, but he wasn't understanding what he was reading when asked questions about it. So how can we do that? How can we help C improve his vocabulary? That can be a couple things. We're going to be pre-teaching vocabulary. So before we give C a material, we're going to go through the words that are in it that he might not know and talk about them. What do those words mean before he sees them in the text that he's going to have to read? We're going to build background knowledge on what he's reading. We're going to talk about what the content is about, what kind of things we're going to be reading about, and just building his knowledge and understanding of those topics. And then we're going to be guiding his reading with good questions. So as he's going through, we're going to be asking questions and talking about what he's reading at different points. So we are hoping that all of these things help, and it is our goal to boost C's comprehension of a 2nd grade reading level up to 80% by the end of this semester. Thank you so much.